BTI joins the Airport Ground Transportation Association's weekly meeting discussing how to combat theft and unwanted intruders on airport property to provide a better customer experience and overall safety.
In general, these are some of the things, these bullet points up here are some of the things that are involved in security system for parking. So, for example, the See Here, See Something, Say Something program. The employees participating in that are typically using radios. They're typically, driving vehicles or they're patrolling on foot. They may have body cameras as well. All of that technology can be integrated together with surveillance cameras. Access control for doors and gates also can be integrated. For perimeter security, you could have radar, you could have thermal imaging, you could have different passive, security sensors that you're using, and you could have analytic software that you're running to keep things secure. The primary concern of a company like the parking spot is, making a profit. The problem that they had with their security systems is frankly that they just weren't working. When they needed to find video, they couldn't find it. Sometimes it wasn't there at all. Sometimes the quality was so poor it was unusable. So unfortunately, when they put out this RFP, they were in a total wreck. And by that, I mean they were paying many thousands of dollars in claims that they had no idea whether they caused the claims or not, how to solve the problem. If they had employees that were causing the problem, they'd like to have known that. If it was customers ripping them off. But generally speaking, they just wanted to maintain this great customer experience for airport parking. What are some of the basics that go into video surveillance? Picture quality obviously is the meat and potatoes of it. Can you see what you need to see in the picture? Is there enough forensic detail in the picture to do something about it? How do you make a system operational? You design it correctly, meaning you put the cameras in the right places, you use the right mounting hardware, weather protection, you use the right electrical materials and surge suppression, the networking, the wireless antennas, the fiber optic wires, copper cables, the terminations, all factor into an installation. The second thing in picture quality is the installation and the environment. Where are the trees? Do we have poles that we can put cameras where we want? Do we have the right lighting? Those are all important factors. So lighting is very, very important for a good quality image. The more and better lighting you have, the more forensic detail you can see in your picture. And the last thing is your storage and the software that you're using to not only view the video live and look at alerts and so forth, but also the software's artificial intelligence capability. So those are all the basics that go into a good picture, right? That's how you make a good picture. Here's some examples of what we're talking about. So this is the dead of night. So this is a parking lot with great LED lighting. This is a camera mounted to a light pole with 4 lenses on it. These are very popular today. And you can see these lenses are positioned, meaning tilted, below the level of the LED lights. And the reason why is because the glare from those lights is going to obscure part of the video, right? However, it's not really bothering this camera. And the reason why is this camera is doing what I talked about. It's setting the level of light sensitivity per pixel. You've got nearly perfect color clarity despite huge amounts of contrast and lighting. This is the same camera during the day at sunrise. And here you can see the opposite. You can see, it's very bright. And in fact, the sun is rising on this lens. The camera is seeing better than a human being would by muting out that sun. This is another example. The mission of these cameras is to help this car dealer not pay every customer that comes in for all the dings that were already on their car when they drove into the service bay. Again, the problem with this shot is it's inside in the dark and it's pointing out there where it's really bright. So you can see the camera sees this distant area. It's not washed out, and it also can see every little freckle on the car. Then in terms of analytics and artificial intelligence, that's a really big topic. But what are some of those things trying to do? Well, what those software features are trying to do is, number one, help you with your live video surveillance, assist the people in the communication center proactively to present what they should be looking at based upon unusual activity and make it possible for them to be more efficient than they would be able to be otherwise. So the buckets of different analytics and artificial intelligence mostly manifest when it comes into integrated solutions. So I want to integrate my two-way radios with my video and with my command center phones and with my parking kiosk emergency call buttons and my burglar alarm and my thermal cameras that are detecting when the homeless are camping too close to my fence and bringing that to my attention. So looking at why is that important? Well, you guys probably already know more than I do, but here's what I hear from my customers. There's a tremendous amount of aggravation and time wasted trying to find out what happened. It's very important after the fact to be able to come back to what happened and find it and quickly resolve it. So these things can really help you do that. And I'll try to give you some examples of that. So in this case, I'm looking over a 12-hour period on one camera, and I want to find all the times that a bus drove by. I put in that search, I'm looking for a bus over the last 12 hours on this camera. All the way back there is that bus. For a human being looking at this picture, they probably wouldn't even see the bus, but the camera sees the bus. Been talking a lot about the technology. Let's talk about buying the technology. So different ways you can go to market. Depending upon your source of funding, whether you're a company, private company or public organization, an airport or a parking operator, you may have different ways that you get your funds, and those ways that you get your funds are going to be what determines how you buy a solution like this. In the case of the parking spot, they did vendor RFIs, which is a really smart way to go. They basically said to any vendor that was interested, give us your best shot. And they made the vendors put some skin in the game too, which I think is really smart. We literally did extensive electrical and video and networking designs for the parking spot, all at no cost to them, which was also very helpful to the customer, because a lot of the features that I showed you in this presentation sound and look the same when you're comparing different manufacturers, but they don't work the same in the real world. They basically made the vendors do the work, and they ended up with a good result. I can honestly say that with our managed service program, they do not have IT help desk tickets anymore. If they have a problem with a camera going offline or a server or anything of that nature, our 24-hour service team knows about it before they do and is on it remotely trying to fix it before the problem can occur.
Eric, thank you very much. You did exactly as I asked, gave us an overview and gave us a pretty good idea of what it means to be able to put one of these systems in today.